What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2019 New Year's Special Resolution. So yeah, it's finally here, the New Year's Special. Of course, we didn't get a Christmas special for 2018. Instead, we get a New Year's Special for 2019. That's kind of our end of series episode, and we're having a break until this what we think is going to be the start of 2020. So this will probably be the first and probably the last episode of 2019, depending on whether we get a Christmas special at the end of this year, or then it'll be the first of two, or maybe we'll get most likely we'll probably get a New Year's special next year. So this will probably be the only episode of Doctor Who this year, our New Year's special. So let's start off as we usually do with the cast. Now, before I even want to really get started properly, I do want to say that there will be spoilers in this video. I don't usually say that. There are always spoilers in my reviews, but I feel like this one especially, I really have to address that. But anyway, let's get on with the cast. So Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor is, I think, very, very good in this one. I honestly think this is probably one of her best performances. When she is, by the way, well, I just said spoilers. This is a Dalek story. We're finally getting the Daleks back, which I was very excited about. Jodie Whittaker, the Doctor, when she confronts the Dalek initially, when she talks to it over the hologram. When it's controlling that woman called Lynn, that is a really great scene. I think Jodie Whittaker does an amazing performance there. She really shows her anger and her, just how she feels about you can tell that she's the Doctor, what she's been through with the Daleks, and that they just keep coming back, and you can tell she's pretty pissed. So I love that scene. That's probably her best scene here, to be honest, because I think when she actually meets the Dalek in person, after it's built all its casing, all its armor, although those scenes are good, I don't feel like they're quite as good as the initial scene. Like the initial thing where she's angry and she's you can tell what's going on. I think that scene's I don't know if she just acts it better. I think it's more that it was just written better in a way, because when she does actually meet the Dalek, she doesn't seem to have as much fear or as much anger. Because she meets the Dalek, it tries to kill her straight away, but she sonics the screwdriver because she's saying, oh, because you've only just set up your did I just say she sonics the screwdriver? I did, didn't I? She sonics the Dalek's weapon. And because it's just been building itself, so I don't know, it's rebooting or something. So that's interesting, but then it doesn't know who she is at first. Then she finally says, I'm the Doctor, after it scans her and sees the two hearts, and then it gets very angry, and I love that moment where it just starts going exterminate and just starts trying to shoot her like crazy. Really, really awesome stuff. I love that. There are bits that I don't know how to feel about. I mean, with her performance especially, the bit where she slides across the floor I think's weird. She's like, oh, that was an awesome slide. There's always these bits that she's been doing throughout the whole series where she keeps saying gang, team, fam. Fam's the one that annoys me the most. Gang and team, totally fine. TARDIS team, TARDIS gang, but not fam, please. That's just cringe-worthy to the max. But on the whole, she's pretty good. Her serious moments I definitely think are the best. I think the more light-hearted, funny comedic moments don't really fit in this one as much, but on the whole, I still do quite like her in this. Bradley Walsh as Graham O'Brien, of course, is really good. He doesn't have too much to do in this one. It's mainly just talking with Ryan's dad, who appears in this story, and that's really all he has to do. But yeah, he does a pretty good job with that as usual. Tosin Cole as Ryan Sinclair. I mean, Ryan is the main focus companion with this one, and I think he probably gives his best performance of the whole series so far. Really, really good stuff, emotional stuff with his dad, and him getting a bit angry at times as well. But I mean, that emotional bit at the end where his dad is about to get sucked out of the TARDIS with the Dalek, and he goes to grab him. I mean, I was thinking at that point, I was like, I reckon they're going to kill Ryan's dad off here. I thought that's really bad for Ryan because he lost his gran at the start, and now he's going to lose his bloody dad. But then Ryan went to go grab his dad to help him, and I was like, are they going to kill Ryan off? Like, I was honestly thinking, are they going to, they could kill a companion off here. Are they going to kill Ryan off? I thought that's an interesting choice if you're going to go for that. A lot of people thought that Graham was going to die. Spoilers, he didn't. But yeah, luckily, in a lot of ways, they didn't kill Ryan off, but I think they could have killed his dad off. I mean, to be fair, there wouldn't have been much impact for us, because we didn't really know him, but yeah, it would have been a nice impact for Ryan, but at the same time, after losing his, his nan earlier on in the series, maybe it would have been a bit too much. I thought Mandip Gill as as Yasmin Khan, she was pretty good. Once again, not too much to do. I liked how, especially at the start, we got to kind of see her a bit more in action with kind of her, speciality in the police force. You know how she escorts those what are their names, Mitch and Lynn, out of the sewers, and gets their information and stuff. She feels like a police officer, and we haven't really seen that throughout the whole series apart from the first episode, so I love that. I thought that the two people that played Lynn and Mitch as well, they were all pretty good. They were both pretty good as well, especially Lynn, played by Charlotte Ritchie. She was very, very good. Alright, so let's get on to the story itself. The Dalek is, basically the story, there's a Dalek, it invaded Earth many, many centuries ago. It was on like a reconnaissance mission, and because it was a reconnaissance soldier Dalek or something. And apparently centuries ago, people with swords, shields, and like mallets managed to defeat this Dalek somehow. I mean, we can't even defeat a Dalek with 50th century technology, but people from like the Middle Ages can defeat a Dalek perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't really understand how that works. Is there an explanation for that? I don't know. I really don't know. And bearing in mind, this was a Dalek that was, not like the one that we see in this episode, because this one in this episode is very much more vulnerable, because it's, it's had to build its own armor and stuff. Whereas, the one that they invaded back in the day, that was a full-on proper Dalek. How they defeated it, I do not know, but anyway, it happened, and they like split it up into 3 pieces and buried it in 3 different places. But then, many, many years in the future, present day, New Year's Day, I think it is, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 2019, this Dalek manages to come back to life, and it like joins its 3 parts together. I think it's using like the temporal shift thing, and then yeah, it basically comes alive again, latches on to this woman called Lynn, and starts controlling her. Now, I was wondering when I saw this, when I was figuring out what was going on, I was kind of thinking, how is this going to work? Because when they've done kind of human Daleks before, I haven't really been a big fan of it. I mean, the ones that they did in like Evolution of the Daleks, I don't mind, but they were very basic, just kind of soldiers, and I don't know, they were alright. I really don't like the Daleks, the human Daleks where they have eye stalks coming out of their heads that were introduced, I think, in Asylum of the Daleks. I don't like them at all. Big thing with Moffat's era, and I didn't like them. They just looked stupid, and they were just kind of useless in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, this though, I actually quite liked this Dalek controlling this woman. I thought it was actually done pretty well. The fact that the Dalek kind of talked through her, but not all the time. And I mean, I really like how they didn't use the modulator effect, voice effect on the Dalek when it wasn't in its casing. It still had that. It still sounded like a Dalek, but it didn't have the kind of, the high-pitched kind of voice modulated sound to it, which I thought was really good. Really great attention to detail there. So yeah, eventually this Dalek manages to get itself its weapon, well, a Dalek weapon from, I believe, the security, I don't know, it's some security guard at a police station, or I don't know what it is. They have a bunch of alien equipment, and there's a Dalek gun there. It manages to get that. It also just builds itself a casing, well, using Lynn, out of just scrap metal. So we get the actual Dalek, and I think this Dalek in its own right is cool looking. It's different. I mean, it's basically a new series Bronze Dalek, but the bottom of it's pretty much the same as a Bronze Dalek. Some of the kind of spheres are a little bit different sizes, and it has rockets in a couple of the front spheres, which is an interesting touch, but you know what? I'm fine with it. It works. It's Evolution. It's fine for me. They only use them like once, so it don't really bother me. But then when you get further up, kind of, after you get kind of the skirt thing at the bottom, it goes really thin. I don't know why they decided to do that. Maybe it's just to make it look different, because I think the fact that they did make it look different, and then, I think if they just made this look like a normal Dalek, like they're making us believe that it managed to just basically recreate itself completely. Like, I don't think that would have been great. I'm definitely glad that they did do a slightly different design. I'm not a big fan of this design, but I don't think we're really supposed to be. It's supposed to look just thrown together and, made out of scrap metal and a little bit wishy-washy and a bit strange. So as a one-off Dalek design, I like it. I wouldn't really like to see it again, you know. I think it worked for this, but don't bring it back. So yeah, the moments with the Dalek and the Doctor I thought were pretty good. The actual Dalek, you know, they were all right. I think she did have some slightly not great moments. I loved the bit, you know, after when it was getting ready to go kill a bunch of people, and it said, "I'm gonna do blah 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 in 6 rels or something," whatever it said. You know how Daleks always, their measure of time is rels, and I really like, you know, this was a little thing that I picked on. I like how when the Doctor ran out of the building, she was like, "I need to remember how much 1 rel is," and I just found that a funny moment. Like the Doctor's like, "Okay, so how much is 1 rel again?" Like that just made me laugh. I don't know why. That's such a little thing, but I don't know. I liked it. And yeah, altogether, I thought this was pretty good. Now, one of the main issues for me with this episode was the thing with Ryan and Ryan's dad. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't good, because the emotional stuff was really, really good. For me, though, it didn't feel like it belonged in this episode. If it was a New Year's episode with something else, maybe, but the fact that they're bringing the Daleks back, and especially when they haven't had any returning villains throughout the whole series, this is the first series to return, the first villain, returning villain, you know, in this series, and they have half the episode focusing on Ryan and his dad. It felt a bit out of place for me. I think they should have done that in the series finale, and this is one of the issues I had coming into this, especially when I first heard that it was going to be the Daleks. I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to this. I think this could be a good end to the series, but strictly speaking, when you think about it, this isn't the series finale. Battle of Ranskoor Avka Lost was the series finale, and this is what I was worried about going into this. I thought I am going to be a little bit worried in some ways, and don't know how to think if this is going to feel like more of a finale than Avka Lost did, and sadly, in some ways, it did. I think this would have worked better as the series finale, and then maybe doing something a little more light-hearted for New Year's, instead of, you know, big, you know, bloody monstrous Daleks New Year's Day, and then just this other thing going on with the series 11 finale. I think they should have put the Daleks in the series 11 finale, and, you know, and gone with that, and then, you know, had the stuff with, I don't know, figure some stuff out there, and then do maybe, I don't know, if you want to, bring Tim Shaw back for the New Year special and do the stuff with Grace there, and even if you can, you know, maybe make that an hour, so give that the hour slot, give the Daleks the 50-minute slot, and then you can also, as well as the Grace stuff, you can also put the Ryan and Ryan's dad stuff in the New Year's Day special with Tim Shaw. That may have made that episode quite boring, but I just think that putting it in here with the Daleks was not the best move. But yeah, I did enjoy this episode. It's probably my favourite episode of Series 11. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I think it's pretty good. The main issues with it for me are, once again, some of the dialogue, which has been a big issue throughout the whole series for me. But to be honest, it's not as bad here. And then, really, it's just the slow stuff, Ryan and his dad, which I just think was a bit out of place, and that cafe scene especially went on for way too long. But on the whole, I think honestly this is the best Dalek story since Stolen Earth Journey's End. I really do. I think this is a better Dalek story than anything that Stephen Moffat punched out. So yeah, I think with that, in, you know, saying that, it's actually pretty good. I would enjoy this one. I would watch this one and enjoy it again. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.